Last week, we saw positive session for the Chinese stock markets. General sentiment seemed to be pretty good, particularly in the face of the fact that we saw pretty sharp losses on Wall Street. So give us your sense of where we're going from here. How do you see the Chinese markets at the moment?
Well, we have for quite a while now the expectation that Chinese assets or Chinese equities will have the ability to relatively outperform on the back of reopening and also stimulus that we get from the government. So the problem right now, of course, is the zero COVID policy. And I think we get reminders here every Monday. It seems the weekend gives us more news as to how much of an on and off this could be. So I think the latest news comes from Macau, right? First time in 8 months, just days after easing visitor quarantine requirements, they're back there. So the COVID situation may delay all this a little bit, but second half of the year.
Those hopes of reopening keep getting hit, don't they? So, you know, this does that mean that the optimistic sentiment that we're seeing is going to ease off a little bit as people become a little bit more jaded?
No, I think it's still it will still be quite obvious to investors that there's a very big discrepancy to the rest of the world right now between China and especially other central banks that are going to hike quite aggressively. China is in a very different situation economically, but also in terms of their monetary and fiscal policy stimulus ability. So, of course, right now, if we, for instance, look at the one-year loan prime rate, where we get information today, of course, it's difficult for them to ease right now, just after we got a very aggressive rate hike from the Fed last week. But overall, the picture is still that there will be more stimulus coming, and also from a fiscal and a monetary policy to support economic growth, and that will also feed alongside the reopening story that I mentioned before.
So the government action story has also been a fairly long-running one, Stefanie. How has that held up in the face of reality? What have they actually done, and how effective has it been?
Well, we actually look back at April, where we saw the government drawing a red line into the sand, realizing that more support for the economy needs to come in. And I think for a while, there was a big question mark, will that be just lip service or will we see anything coming in? But of course, you need to wait until lockdowns are lifted to see fiscal stimulus coming in. But as soon as that was done, like in Shanghai and Beijing over the last couple of weeks, you also saw that fiscal stimulus met alongside the verbal assurances that we got. And I think there's also some reassurance coming from the fact that the regulatory part seems to come to an end in regards to regulating tech, etc. So we feel that this is all on the right trajectory in regards to that measure.